Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We got Eric, we got AJ, we got Rudo. Avs taking on the Boston Bruins. Can we just talk about the trade this entire pregame show instead of this game that we have to watch? Yeah, right?
Very fascinating.
Way more interesting, but doesn't really have anything to do with the Avs.
How often do you see two top 5 picks in the last like 4 draft classes or however
get swapped?
I think it's 4. Yeah, get traded for each other without there being like a
pretty big catalyst for it.
Yeah, like it just randomly just drops on you in the first week of January. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Weird times out here. P.S. I don't know. I was talking to Eric about this earlier. AJ, are you player empowerment? If a dude doesn't want to play somewhere, should he say it? Or should he suck it up and play for the team that drafted him?
Yeah, no, he could definitely say it, but I also think that the team that invested a top draft pick in him deserves to know why.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's essentially ghosted the Flyers organization for the last year is ridiculous.
Won't even meet with them is kind of crazy.
Screams extremely entitled to me from the outside. Because not knowing what the reasoning is, and for, you know, and of course, Daniel Briere is not an unbiased observer here.
Definitely not.
But him saying he wanted to be a Flyer, he was good when we drafted him. He said that he was all about it. Then a few months later, he said, I'm out, and we never got an answer why. It's pretty messed up. I'm all for the college kids, especially using the leverage that they have. It's one of the very, very few times in their careers in which they will have the upper hand on an organization, so I'm good with it. But I think everything should be above board, and it doesn't feel like this is right now.
What's weird because and I'm not, again, I hate when I say that, but I'm not bashing other cities, but this is not a city that, you know, is accustomed to people or like an American player not wanting to go to, let's say, Winnipeg or, you know, something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I get it. Like in Calgary, we had Adam Fox, and same thing. You know, I was telling Rudo, like, he wasn't going to sign there. I get that, and for all the reasons that you just talked about. But this is weird. It's Philly. It's weird. You know, this is an American kid. It's Philly, which is a great hockey market. Like, not that Calgary's not or Winnipeg. I'm saying, but it's rare that you see people not wanting to go to Philly. I've never really heard that. So it'd be interesting to see what is the real reason, you know what I mean? Like that you're not going to sign there, you know what I mean? Something was said, something was done. I don't know. I mean, hopefully we'll find out one day.
Yeah.
But, you know, what is the truth behind it, you know?
Yeah. What's the catalyst? What happened?
Yeah. It's weird.
Especially Philadelphia keeping it quiet for a year.
Right.
It's not like he just told him at WJC's last week and was like, no. You couldn't tell him that because he ducked him. That's not even, I didn't even mean to make the Ducks pun, but
Yeah.
that just worked out well for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get lucky. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything as far as the Avs are concerned unless you're down some crazy road where the Avs are trading for Morgan Frost or something, but
It continues this talent coming to the West.
Yep.
You know, and Jamie Drysdale might end up living up to that potential that we saw a couple of years ago, but he's a major injury and not very many good NHL games in so far. And for the Ducks, they basically just get a free top forward, and they give up a defenseman a position where they already have a lot of good young defensemen on the way.
That's it.
And they're probably going to pick in the top 5 again. So now in a 1-year span, you're going to add Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, and whoever they just draft.
Yep.
in this, it may not matter for a whole lot for the Avs right now, but god damn it, can this knock it off?
Let the talent stay east for sure. All right. We do got to talk about tonight's game for the Avs, though, a little bit. Or rather, we don't have to talk about it, but Jared Bednar had a lot to say at Morning Skate today. Range of topics from Jason Poland all the way down to some of the other guys on the lineup, some of the Avs vibes and mindset. I'll just let him tell it to you. Roll the footage.
Madison. day to day if he's not in. Yeah, he was out on the ice early, left early, so he's testing some things out.
That'll be a game time decision. Josh?
Yeah.
No Wood or Kibby or Ontario, either of them options tonight?
Yeah, Kivvy's gonna play. Don't know about Wood yet. Still sick.
That's an emotional roller coaster of a game a couple nights ago. How do you feel like the guys have kind of responded?
Yeah, I think we're over that. You know, it usually doesn't hang around with their team too long. I mean, we had the day off yesterday to get away from the rink, back at work today, so shouldn't be an issue.
Where are you at with Ross Colton's production? He seemed to have a little bit of a hot stretch. It's tailed off. Are you still looking for more out of him?
Yeah, sure. Love to see him score every night. But it's not, you know, like I think that's pretty typical with any player. I think you look at within our roster, they're going to catch some hot streaks, produce, and go cold for a little bit. Obviously, you'd like to see the consistency in it there every night, but I mean, it's just not the way it is.
Is there any conversation that maybe you or UC has with the goaltenders after a game like a couple nights ago where it seemed like just wasn't their night, or do you just let them bounce back?
Just depends. I mean, Prosy hadn't played for a while. He's played pretty well for us. It's obviously an off night for him, but UC goes through the games with their goalies, win, lose, or, you know, every time goes through all their touches, things that he thinks they can do better technically. They talk about the game, spend a bunch of time, so none of that changes after a loss like that.
Georgiev was leading the NHL in minutes played and starts and all that. Do you feel like his workload is where you would like it to be, or like how do you see that at this point?
I mean, I'd like it to be less, but it's, I mean, we seem to take him out whenever he feels like he needs a break, and he plays the rest of the time. He's also a goalie that likes being in the net a lot.
Jared, how does a young player or a new player to your team earn your trust as a head coach?
Starts with paying attention to the detail within the structure of our game, putting the work in to be a complete 200-foot player, like be responsible checking forward, and then I want them to play to their ability and play to their identity. You know, they're usually on they have their own. They're on a line that has an identity, and you know, if it's guys that have offensive ability to help produce, I like to see them be dangerous. Doesn't necessarily have to result in points, but scoring chances for and helping yourself and your line mates produce those chances. And as you kind of round out your game, we try to use them to the best of their abilities whenever we get the opportunity.
You mentioned in the Florida game that some of the mistakes made early were in the pre-scout. How does that relate to your relationship with players and respect in their ability to absorb all of the information that you're giving them because of the time that you put into pre-scouts?
Well, it's exactly what I just answered. You know, like we're spending our time and picking through a lot of information on every opponent to make sure that the players have the information they need so they know what to expect from the Boston Bruins offensively, what to expect from them defensively, where we might be able to take advantage of some weaknesses, what we have to be aware of, like when it comes to their strengths. So that's how you earn trust. I mean, if you're detail oriented and you understand what they're going to do and you're kind of one step ahead of it in your checking game or offensively, the better off you're going to be.
The stretch here, you've got Florida, Boston, Vegas. Is this a measuring stick stretch for you? Do you care about that at all?
No, I do. I think it's a good test for our team. You know, like it started with Dallas, and it's all the top teams coming up, and then the beginning of February we take on all the rest of the top teams, starting with the Rangers. So it's like, it's a good measuring stick. Let you know where you're at with a team. I wish we were going into it not banged up and with some guys sick, but every team goes through that. You're gonna have to grind. It's gonna be every point you can carve out of the stretch is an important point, and it's gonna be some tough opponents. We found that out the other night. We had a good game in Dallas. We were able to get the win. We didn't have a great game the other night, didn't get any points, and we have to bounce back tonight and try to carve out some points.
For those of us who don't see Cale, Makar on a regular basis, what are the skills that make him such a unique player?
So I mean, it starts with his skating, number one, and really that drives his offense. I mean, he's an intelligent player. He's a handsy player. He likes to get up and get involved in the offensive side of it, but still pays a great deal of attention to his defending, his physicality. He's always thinking what.
So, a lot of things to cover there, ranging all the way from Arturi Lehkonen being in a no contact or being in a full contact jersey, through to the Avs continuing to be struck by illness. Sam Malinsky coming up and playing. Jason Poland in the lineup for the Avs because Miles Wood is still out. The lineup is in flux at best right now.
Yeah, it's a really bad part of the schedule for it to happen.
Yep.
You would have really liked some of that December health right now, please.
Yep.
But
you still got the top guys that can do damage, right? And you just want the other guys to limit, like I always say, even or better, right? You know what? The bottom of the lineup tonight, forwards, Ds, just limit, play a simple game.
Look, if you don't lose the game, Nathan McKinnon will probably win it for you.
At least give him that shot, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Cale, Nate,
don't have to
Mikko.
complicate it too much, right? Just don't be the reason you lose.
Just be simple. Yes.
Give me 3 keys to the Avs winning this one tonight.
Whoa. Big play, college football right now. I'm not sure what happened.
Me neither.
Number 1, be on the lookout for pasta. I was just in the North End last week. Pasta. This guy's on fire right now. I thank God we're at home so we can control the matchups a little bit, or else he'd be feasting.
Pasternak against Kivi Ranta is not a matchup that I want to see.
Yeah, be aware at all times of his location. Play him tight. This guy's a great passer, too. People tend to forget. He's got a 6 shot, but take his space away. Don't take penalties tonight. Please don't take penalties. There's no need. You don't want Cale killing penalties, Tays, and, as we know, you're missing a bunch of guys. We don't want to be wasting our time tonight killing penalties. Number 2, be strategic, be smart, but be intense. Bruins, it's a blue-collar city. Those guys work, man. Those guys work, and, that's why they're there. Goaltending is a big part, but their blue-collar mentality. I was watching Marchand this morning. I mean, he's just like a little pit bull, right? He just goes and he just wants to eat. He just wants to feast on anything, and, you're gonna have to be intense tonight. If you're a passenger tonight, it's not gonna work. And then you got guys like McAvoy in the back end, same thing. Like he's a worker, he's a workhorse, and he's a nasty SOB. He can play the game, but he plays it hard. They're well coached in all aspects, and but always remember, you're in Colorado. Speed kills, and then keep it a simple game, but speed kills. And then number 3. We've beaten to death a little bit lately, especially after last game. Goaltending. I mean, the Bruins are... Swayman's in that tonight. Well, Swayman, Homer. They rarely have bad games. I mean, you're going to have to... Georgiev's going to be sharp tonight. He's going to have to be sharp. Be a warrior, man.
Stopping it at 2 might not be enough tonight.
And that's my point. Be a warrior. Again tonight, play that mental game across the guy down the ice from you. And say, you know what, I'm beating them. And then just go with that. But at some point, you're going to need a goaltending performance by the Avs right now to give them a win. We've been saying lately, good goaltending should be fine for the Avs to win tonight. They're going to need great goaltending with the lineup that they have.
Can we get better goaltending just so we don't have to talk about it anymore?
That's my point, So I just
feels like
I hate to write it, but tonight it is.
True.
I mean, it's just true.
Yeah. You have to keep talking about it until it's either not a problem or the Avs lose because of it. One of the two. The other side of this, historically, the Avs have been quite good against the Boston Bruins.
Especially in Boston.
Yeah, they tend to beat them very, very often. Over the last decade or whatever it is, they have 2 regulation losses, I think.
20 years.
Is it that long? Yeah, so this century, the turn of the millennium.
Recent history not so great, but the game in Boston last year was that unbelievably loaded Bruins team against the
Colorado Eagles.
Yeah. That was a rough one to watch, man.
That was tough.
And the thing is, you're getting a little bit of that tonight. I already mentioned Malinsky and Poland both in the lineup. Caleb Jones also in because Josh Manson is out tonight. You're rocking a 4th line of Olofsson, McDermott, and Poland.
Well, there's going to be some hitting on that line in the 4 minutes that they play.
Yep. So this is my question. With a lineup like this, Eric kind of already alluded to it, and maybe trying just to make sure you don't lose with your weak points in your roster. And I get the real world isn't black and white, but game like tonight, should the Avs more lean into their strengths, or should they more shelter their weaknesses?
Strengths.
Yeah.
Strengths.
Well put question, though. Well done. That's
Be who you are.
award-winning, question. But I agree. Yeah, I agree with AJ. Go with your strength.
All
And
right.
if you're going to win, that's how you're going to win tonight, right? And
All right.
goaltending, obviously.
All right.
But
Yeah, you might need 35 saves out of Georgiev,
You might.
which would be great to see, unless it's on 45 shots, in which case that doesn't
that's
feel
not
good.
good, yeah.
So goaltending needs to be a strength tonight, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it needs to go back to being the strength that it has been for a lot of the last several years of Avalanche hockey.
Yep.
This has been the anomaly. Their goaltending to date this season has been easily their worst in, God,
Long time.
many years.
Yeah.
I mean, Varley was
Literally
stable,
half a decade, I think.
Yeah, probably even more, man. I
Maybe.
mean, you might be going back to Varley and John Bernier. It's
You're
been a
digging
while.
pretty deep at that point.
It's
yeah.
been a while since their goaltending has been this bad on the whole. So that has to go back to, nothing else, as we've seen, nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter how well the Avs have played or not played. If they aren't getting the goaltending, you just can't score 6 goals a game.
Yep.
And against this team, you're not scoring 6 goals.
Which is rare.
Tell that to
Rare.
whoever they played the other night.
You're not doing it again.
But it gives an opportunity for a guy, again, even if it's going to be 4 minutes, Poland, hey, it's your chance. It's your chance to go on National Hockey League ice with National Hockey League players. It's your chance to do something where they're like, whoa, what was that? Whoa, where'd that come from? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he'll be here next week when everyone's healthy or whatever, when the bodies are back, but
Yeah.
But that's how you create things. That's how we always say. That's how you make them make decisions and start thinking about, whoa, what's going on? What did I miss here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Sam Malinsky's back for a reason.
Yep.
They needed the extra guy on defense, and they were like, look, we got enough out of him. Then
They could have taken a Middleton or an Amott or something
or
else.
Brad Hunt is right
Sure.
there. The
Yeah.
veteran, drop him in, do whatever. He would have been so easy for them. And they were just like, no, we want that guy.
Yep.
I love
Great.
it.
One little, I don't know how real this is. I'm not going to pretend like I'm taking this super seriously, but this is the front half of a back-to-back for Boston. They go to Arizona and play tomorrow. You jump on a team like that, you get up 2-0 quick. Is that a team that says, maybe we save the legs for the second half?
Nope.
No? Not
Nope.
at all?
Not,
Okay.
No, I
not the
wouldn't.
Bees, man. They,
All right.
Yeah.
2 points. The 2 points in front of them are the 2 points they give a shit about. Also, it must be nice to be the Coyotes, man. How many
It feels like they get a lot.
How many
Yeah.
schedule breaks do these guys have? Come on.
And the Bees, they were supposed to come in yesterday, and then they actually came in after their game
The day before.
Friday night
yeah.
or whatever, Saturday night. Yeah,
Yeah.
which because of the snowstorm in Boston. But,
Yep.
But they changed their plans last minute and then kind of flew in that night. So I kind of like that they've been here longer. It kind of altitude usually sets in a little bit.
We've
and-
talked about this. The second day is usually
It
a lot
does, it does.
harder. So
It does. So, I mean, the Avalanche can take advantage of that. Be awesome, But I think the Bees will be hungry. I mean, they love their
Always.
hungriness, So
I imagine this one's always a little important for Monty coming back to Denver.
Sure.
He's gonna want that. Not that obviously he left on any kind of bad terms. That's not
They
how
got-
it went down. But
no.
But he gets to see all the people in town.
Yeah, exactly.
Wants to put on a show a little bit.
yeah, he wants to walk out with what he came for.
Yep.
But there'll be some angry dogs there too. You know what I mean? Like Frederick and those guys. Like those guys are. I mean, they play freaking hard.
Oh yeah.
Like a guy like that plays hard. Like it's fun to watch.
Yeah, Trent Frederick is obnoxiously effective.
That's what I'm saying. Like
What a
you
pain
like him
in
on
the
your
ass.
team. You don't like him on the
No,
other
not
team.
at
But you
all.
like him on your team. It's awesome.
Well, they're gonna have to work hard for it, but hopefully they don't have to work too hard for my bets. ranging from, you see my usual ones here. Taves Point is still positive money. Druin, you gotta switch it up. You gotta go to the assist now to find the good money at plus 140. They've cordoned on to the point straight up. That's now minus 130. So it's a little bit tougher to get that money now.
There are like 13 straight games of this.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And then Georgiev took the over on saves like they were talking about. You will not have an easy time winning a game against a team as good as the Bruins if you are not getting a good goaltending performance. It's just too hard to dig yourself out of those holes.
I agree.
Like we've seen the Avs have to do far too often this season. So,
Yeah. Try to play from ahead. Not to steal Blaze's thing.
Yeah.
Play from ahead.
it's such a world of difference. And you will lose games from ahead. The Avs have lost games from ahead this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
no guarantee.
You have to work so much harder when you're playing from behind every night.
It's tough. Catch up hockey, remember?
Yeah, exactly. Little cats up today, maybe.
Cats up hockey.
Instead of the ketchup, get some cats up. When you do your betting, make sure you're doing
what happens when we play food-related video games?
Yep.
Just gets on your mind?
Yep, now it's stuck in there.
Son of a bitch.
Do your betting with Bet365. Sign up today with code DNVR365. Put $10 in your account, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets. Plus, take a little screenshot of your account with that $10 in there. Send it over to promo@thednvr.com, and we'll give you a coupon for a free DNVR shirt. So if you want to rock the Loch Ness Monster shirt that I've got on right here, you can do that one. Tons of other options, too, for whatever you fancy from the DNVR locker. Tonight, we're into the territory of the season, I should say. I'm not even asking. I am presenting it. Where it no longer matters how you get the 2 points, right? You just need to get 2 points when you can, where you can, how you can.
Yep. This is the official halfway point of the season. So the next 20 games are about really getting as many points as you can.
Yep.
And then the last 20 games are also about continuing to get points, but really tighten the screws for the postseason.
Yep. Lock it all in.
Yeah. This is still, the Avs have, 50 some odd points? They
whatever.
They're halfway to the number of points that they're looking for to stay in the
top of the Central.
Yeah. In the division title hunt. Although if Winnipeg never loses again, that's over.
They'll go through their streak.
Everybody does. It comes for everyone.
Everybody does. Look at Vegas now.
It happens to everybody.
LA.
Yeah, LA's been dipping a bit too.
LA's is now starting to get a little extended.
Eric, midpoint of the season, how often do you see players go through lulls when you start talking about they've been in season for about 3 months now? Do you see guys kind of mentally slip a little bit leading into the All-Star break?
It is, and it's they call them the dog days, right, of January, February, and the schedule's tough in this league, man. It's just tough. It's a lot of traveling, a lot of games, a lot of mentally draining days. You know what I mean? And it's tough, but yeah, I think it's normal to see dips. But I think as pros and as a leadership group, I think they have a good leadership group. Obviously, they don't let those dips dig too deep. You know what I mean? And I think that's the key in the NHL. You don't want to have too big of a dip. We saw San Jose. Forget that it's a bad squad, right? But still, as you know, you go through that start. And you're done. It's over. The season's over. There's no chance. There's no savaging it. So you want to make sure when you go through those dips that you drop one. Like we always say, 2, 3 is like, oh God, it's panic time. It is. I don't care what people say because you don't want it to get any further. So I think it's normal to see dips. I think it's normal for guys to pick up too when guys go through dips. You know what I mean? And like a guy like Lehkonen when he comes back and he'll be fresh. And it's all we always got to look at it, things like that. So I think that Sammy. I expect a big game from Sammy tonight, because he's the guy that's the most fresh of all the guys, right? He had that game. He was awesome. Came back. He had a little dip. It's normal when you've missed so long. But then a game like tonight with no Manson, no Bo Byron, what I mean? It's important that he's a stud tonight. You know what I mean? And that's a big key, So, yeah, I think it's normal to have dips, but you want to make sure they don't get too deep in those dips,
Look,
It's also a hard part of the schedule in terms of how many games they're playing.
Yep.
Because they're getting very, very few breaks.
Yeah.
They have been every other day, every other day, every other day. And
2.5 weeks now, basically.
Wednesday is the end of that. And I would have to go and actually count them. But anecdotally, I want to say this is one of their toughest stretches of the entire season in terms of number of games and number of days. Because they just don't have breaks here.
Yep.
And that will stop this week. But they're right at the end of it. And boy, that it is not easy.
Got to finish it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it is not easy.
No, it's not.
Look, we talked about it. The Avs just finished a stretch of 7-2-1 in their last 10, the best stretch of 10 of the season.
There you go.
Start the new one right. Go 1-0. Make your life easier on the next stretch of 10, right?
Yep.
Same thing that applies to in games. Don't make a hole for yourself in your record either.
Yeah. You don't keep winning 7 out of 10 in these 10-game segments because you lose at the start of it. You know?
You got to win them.
And when you drop one like they did last game, it's like, all right, we don't drop 2 in a row, right? Which, for the most part, this year, that hasn't happened a lot, right? Yeah. So that's why they have 7-3 segments or 7-2-1, right? So that means you're winning games more than you're losing them. So, I mean, I'm not good at math, but that's kind of what it tells me.
You had a chance to become a wagon and you failed. So,
yes.
Now it starts with 1.
Yeah, you got Oregon trailed.
Ooh, the Avs do seem to be dying of dysentery right now. So, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap up the pregame show. We do have a watch-along coming your way, too. So, tune in to see me rambling maybe by myself about stupid stuff. And also, watch the hockey game with us. Either way, we appreciate y'all. If you're not a watch-along fan, that's fine. But be sure to tune in to our post-game where we'll break it all down for you. Be there or be square. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
We all silly like the mayor.